Yes, guys, good morning. Good morning. It's Independence Day, and I just want to say Happy Independence Day, Jamaica. So I got up this morning and I feel like I want to motivate somebody. I don't know if it's even one person. I just feel like I have a story to tell, and I'm gonna tell my story with the hope that one somebody, if it's even one somebody, we walk away with something from it, because I believe that, it's Independence Day, and I believe that I represent what majority of Jamaica represent. We are people of resilience, you know, determined, hardworking, go-getters. We're survivors. We are. Yes, so my story that I'm going to share with you is how I moved from being a high school dropout to a bartender and a domestic worker to become a social worker. Yes, one of the greatest profession. Not one of. Let me correct that. Sorry, the greatest profession there is, and it is the greatest because Jesus is a social worker. Yes, guys. So, uh, let me say this: I dropped out of school at the end of eighth grade, which means that I was 14. Yeah, 14. I was 14 years old at the time I dropped out of school, and let me say that prior to dropping out of school, my absence throughout my school years, I'm talking about, not the 2 years from the high school. I'm talking not just mine, but my siblings as well. Our absence were more than our presence, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we were like visitors when we were going to school. We're visiting. Yeah, that's it. There are days when our name would be crossed out of the register, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, guys, it's nothing to make fun of, but yeah. Anyway, so I remember though when I started high school, I never attended high school like a September morning those 2 years, which is 7th and 8th grade. For 7th grade, I started in October, and I think for 8th grade, I started in November. Yeah. So, when we start school, everybody's gel, as Jamaicans say, everybody, friends are formed, they're ready, everybody's settled and all of that. So, I am just showing up, trying to feel my way around, find out what's going on. That's it. But the thing is that I grew up in a family that believes in education. My mother and grandmother are firm believers in education. You understand? Even when we weren't attending school, they expect us to do great. If I one day show up, you better use that one day and and your lunchtime and your break time and get every note. See all way never get fine, you go. Cause you're gonna do good. You have to be great. You have to be great. And the days that we didn't go, they would spend time teaching us at home. My grandmother have this saying. She had this saying where so rest in peace, that reading make it a full man. So we were not allowed to play like our kids would play. We would have to read. As she said, reading make it a full man. So yes, I grew up in a family that believes in education, even though they could not afford it. You understand? Yes, I remember the decision. I remember the feelings associated with me dropping out of school. To this day, I felt the feeling of embarrassment, despair, hopelessness, everything. It was hard, to be honest. It was hard, and I mentioned the feeling of embarrassment because I dropped out of school and my peers were going. So you just don't know how to wrap your head around seeing your friends going to school and you stay home. For years, I would hide behind the curtains in the house and watch them every morning and every evening, hoping that one year would be my year. But the truth is that I never get my year. My year never come. I graduated from my school staying home, if you know what I mean. I remember the decision that we have to make as a family as to why I had to drop out. My mother couldn't afford to send us. My sister was going on to 10th grade. I was supposed to move on to 9th grade, but then my brother passed common entrance, and so he's now supposed to, move on to 7th grade. So, and she couldn't afford it at the time. She was a single mother. 5 kids, it's hard. No family support or anything like that. I remember when a friend told her that she's gonna help her with one because she can't help her with all of us, just one. And she said, alright, she's gonna send me because she don't want me to stay in the yard because my girl pick me if I stay in the yard, my big man and take up man for my head and all of these things. So it's best if I go. But I told her no, I feel like my brother should go. And she agreed that, my brother should go because my brother was hella smart. My brother, he's smart. He's smart, and I'm not saying that I never look smartish, but my smart was no match for his smartness, And at the time too, when I made that decision, I don't think I still truly understand the value of education the way he did. He was younger than I am, but he was far more determined and focused than I am, So we made a decision as a family. Let me tell you something. I don't know what poverty does in your family, but poverty has taught us to pray as a family. We were always praying. Like, Jesus, God's supposed to take 3 years for us. We pray so till we can't pray no more. And in addition to praying, we'll have meetings. So whenever a decision is to be made, we would sit as a family and make that decision, Yeah, our family was tight. And this thing, with poverty, and I said that poverty has made us a tight-knitted family. Like, we grew up knowing that all we had was each other as siblings, and we would have to fight for each other. So that decision was made. So my brother was the one who started school, and I stayed home during that time. He would give me work to do at home, and then he would come home after school and mark them, while my mother would still ensure that I'm still doing some work, So because, as I said, the hope is to go back, which never happened. I remember though how I got my first job as a bartender. I was like 16 years old. I followed this friend. It was coming out to Christmas, so try also your Christmas money. So I followed this friend because she said that she's going. I wasn't looking for a job. Let me say that I wasn't looking for a job as a bartender at the time. I followed her for the job, and the proprietor saw me and liked me and decided to use me instead of her. It was kind of hard because it was her job. I just followed her, but he chose me. So I was 16 at the time, working as a bartender in a strip club. But the truth is, I was hella focused because I don't know what poverty does to other people, but poverty make me know certain decision I can't make certain decision because I hate poverty, and I would never make any decision that would keep me in poverty. So I was focused in the sense that I knew from the get-go that boyfriend was never up my alley. Drinking never gonna be a part of my life. Up to this day, I don't drink or smoke. I don't even have boyfriends either up to this day. Kind of. Anyway, so I worked there for like a few months because after Christmas, I got my Christmas money. I was still working there, but it was kind of hard because a strip club, I come home in the wee hours of the morning, and it was kind of hard, so I had to stop. And then at 19 though, I got my first job as a domestic helper, and I was grateful because one thing I've learned, I am grateful for anything that provides for me, and for my family at the time. So I was hella grateful. We were grateful, but the truth is, as grateful as I'm for the job, I was still hurting because it seemed like this would be my future, and it's something that I don't want to do. I feel like I can do better than that. So when I got the job, I was still trying to see if I could go back to school, but it wasn't possible. So I was working and happy, but a part of me was sad because I don't like the job. I don't like, this is not what I want to do. I want an education. That's what I want, So I worked as a domestic helper and then for about 4 years until I left and went to St. Anne to work as a bartender again. And when I was in St. Anne, my sister was working as a bartender there too. Eventually, she got her own bar, and so I'm now living with my sister and helping out in the bar. And that during that time, I see the opportunity to go back to school. Mark you, before that, it was hard for me because I was trying to get myself like a skill study. So I was trying to get into art and NYS, which wasn't possible because based on government policy, you have to have up to 9th grade education before you can be a part of any of those programs. So there was nothing in this system at the time to assist me, you know. So when my sister got her own place, so the first thing on the agenda was for me to go back to school, and it was the first thing on her agenda for me to go back to school because she was old and they were out there, you know, trying to hustle to make money, but they didn't want me to hustle and make money. They wanted me to have an education, you know. So I remember I applied to do continuing education at a college because that would be more like a formal school. So you do continuing education, which is 6 years, and then if you're successful, you just move over to the diploma part or degree program. So you have to do an entry exam. I went and I did the entry exam and I was successful, and I was happy because I wasn't done. So I was going to these schools to get continuing education program, to be a part of their continuing education programs. I was passing the entry exam, but when it comes to when it comes back down to the point where I have to go to the school to get a document saying that, you know, I've attended the school from so on. So they realized that I only attended school for 2 years. So they said that I can't be a part of the program, even though I did well on the entry exam. You know, I was heartbroken. I cried at that point. I just feel like there is nothing in life for me, you know, at this point, not that my future is going to be dark and all of that. So I decided to try the evening program. If you don't know it, I knew it would be difficult for me to do evening class and then come back to the bar. You know, I was trying that and it didn't work out. To be honest, it didn't work out. It was very distracting because to really be around the bar and to work, you know, and to go to school in the evenings. So I came back to Clarendon. When I came back to Clarendon, I heard that there is that evening class in the community where I'm living now. So good distance away from my community, but I decided to be a part of it because by then my brother would have matriculated to university, would have done well in high school, got scholarship for 6th form. You know, he worked for the first year. He wanted to be a doctor, so he worked for the first year, saved his money, and applied to do his degree. Mark at the time, he is a go-getter. He don't have a clue where tuition or where anything come from, but he stepped out in faith and all of that. And when he started, I think he took loan for the first year. And then after that, my father came on board and my father assisted. So financially, my father was in the picture now. So I left from home. At that point, I came back home. Let me go back. So I came back home and I heard about the school, the evening class. And when I came to sign up, I realized that it wasn't a full club, but me never care. Me never care. Once it's the education, I don't care where it is. I'm gonna go for it. You know. So it wasn't a full club, and I registered and I started, and I felt great. I felt motivated and all of that. I was happy I was going to school. I never see full club. I see education. I was happy I was going to school, and I remember I did 6C at the time. I did 6C. You know, because even though, let me tell you, after a while everything fall apart at the school, and you know, we're pretty much on your own. But you know what? After that, I was still, let me say no. So school, it kind of fell apart because it wasn't that organized. You realize I started out, and the next thing you don't have any teachers. Things not going well. But I've invested so much emotionally in it that I want to finish it. You understand? And when I finished, I realized that I think I got 1 or 2 60s, and I was excited. Yeah, I feel bright. Can't talk to me, you know. But then I realized that, you know what, it's possible, it's doable to get to do 60. You know, it's doable to get an education, and then when you have 1 or 2 60, I guess you can apply to school. You can apply to go to school. No, you know. So I was able now to achieve an education in a formal setting, so I applied and I started. But the drawback is that when I started, I realized that I have been learning so much on my own that it was difficult for me to learn into a school environment, if you get what I'm saying. So I paid my tuition and stay home, basically still buy the textbooks, read, study, and did my CXCs and passed them. So basically I passed them on my yard still. Yeah, so passed my CXCs, come back home, passed my CXCs, back home now, don't know what to do, and all that. I never liked teaching. I wanted to be a nurse until one day I saw an accident and I saw blood and all those stuff, and I realized that I can't be a nurse. So now I don't have anything in mind. Can't do anything mathematically because I can't count. So I was like, shoot, I'm home. What am I going to do? And my brother during that time though, my father died. So he came in the picture. I was assisting financially. Then he died. He died before my brother finished medical school. So the family though were back now to having financial problems, because Mikey, when he came in the picture, we were doing more building, like building house and all of that. So what we have was in fixed asset, not cash. So I remember we had to rally around again. The siblings had to rally around to ensure that my brother finished medical school. And we did. After I completed medical school, he called me one day and he was working, and he said that, God bless him, he said that, what you want to do? And I said, I don't know. So I said, I want to think of something because I want to send you to college. I said, I want you to think of something to do. And then he called back the next day and said, what about social work? And I said, what that is? And I said, research it. And I researched it, and he said, yeah, that is you, because you are basically a social worker, because I love to help and all of that. So he was the one who said that, tell me which college to go and apply. I said, apply there. And I went and I applied, and let me say this, my brother sent me through college. Yep, he sent me through college, through college, never pay rent, everything. He took on my full responsibility. So you realize that it was a decision that worth it. It was a decision that worth it. Yes, guys. So so that's how I became a social worker. And it wasn't easy. I had challenges doing everything. So it ain't just smooth sailing after my college. After starting college, I had the biggest battle to fight. But you know what? I made it. The bottom line is I made it. And I'm here. And I just want to say to somebody that who is probably struggling, who's feeling like, there's no hope. Who's every corner, Jamaican say, every corner you turn back, I juke you. I just want to tell you that keep hope alive. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Pray, and believe. Have faith. Yes, guys. So that is my story. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a video. See you.